watching Sioux City Scoop.
You're watching Sioux City Scoop. You're watching Sioux City Scoop.
I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Rush Street Gaming and our background, but really want to focus the majority of the time on this project and what we think it means to the city of Brockton, because we're very excited to be here. We're very excited about this project. And I think there are a lot of reasons for not just the business community, but for the community at large to be very excited and positive about this development. So a little background on Mass Gaming and Entertainment. It's a partnership between George Carney, who I'm sure many of you know, if not have worked for in the past from what we understand, and Rush Street Gaming, which is the company that I work for. Neil Bloom is the chairperson of Rush Street Gaming. Neil's background was in real estate development. He's actually developed over $50 billion of real estate projects over the years, including 2 major projects in Massachusetts, a number in Chicago, in California, and Philadelphia. And one of the things that Neil is known for is building first-class projects, bringing them in on time and on budget, and running really terrific operations. So I've been with Rush Street since 2009, right around the time that we were opening the Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh, which is the largest of our developments. We currently operate casinos in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia, and then just outside of Chicago in Des Plaines, Illinois. And we've put about $3 billion of capital to work over the past few years. There was a resort casino in Niagara Falls as well that Neil developed in the early 2000s before Rush Street Gaming was formed and before I came. But that is, you can see where we are right now. We've also been granted the right to develop, and we're currently in the planning stages right now, a resort casino in the capital region of New York. There was a competition. We were selected over 3 other applicants, and we hope to break ground this fall and have that project opened toward the end of 2016 or early 2017. And then you can see right there on the eastern part of the slide there, the little boxing gloves, that is our proposed casino resort here for Brockton. Just to give you an idea of what our facilities look like, that's our casino in Illinois, the Sugar House in Pennsylvania, which is currently undergoing a $165 million expansion, which we plan to open by the end of this year. And then that's an interior shot of the Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh. That was an $800 million project, very beautiful casino, and that is a rendering of what we plan for Schenectady. That is the Falls View Casino Resort in Ontario. You can see each project is different. And each project, we think, and we try very hard to make sure that it reflects the local sensibilities, the local taste. We would never build something like that in Brockton, even if we could bring in the waterfall. And you'll see later some renderings of what we have planned for the city of Brockton. We always try to make sure that we're integrated into the community and that what we build is appropriate for the scale and for the local taste as well. Our casinos have won 17 Best Of awards over the years, and we've only really been around for about 5 or 6 years. The Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh for 5 years in a row has been named Best Overall Casino in the entire state of Pennsylvania. And our facility in Des Plaines, which opened just 3.5 years ago, has won the Best Casino in Illinois, of which there are 10, and it's won Best Casino in Illinois every year it's been open. One of the things we really pride ourselves on is making sure that we provide great jobs for people and a great environment to work in. And each of our casinos in the last year was voted a best place to work. We've actually been blessed with that award 13 times. These are awards that are actually voted on by our team members who work at the casinos that we operate. All right, so one of the biggest benefits we think extremely important and what everybody we hope is talking about is the job opportunities. And I think a natural question that people may have is, well, okay, great, jobs, but what kind of jobs? And if people don't have, if they're currently unemployed, how can they become employed? And if they've never worked in a casino before, how can they work in a casino? So two points on that. The first is that in Sugar House, which is in Philadelphia, 35% of the people who came to work for us on opening day were unemployed before. We have very strong relationships with local organizations, job training organizations, community colleges, et cetera. We make a point to partner with them and to get the word out and to find people who are good candidates who don't have jobs. And I think we'll find a very similar situation in Brockton. In Pittsburgh, 80% of the people that opened that facility had never worked in a casino before. So there are a lot of jobs that don't require casino-specific skills, and for those that do, in many cases, we're able to provide the training before people start. There's significant setback from all the residential streets. There will be significant improvements to the traffic. Currently, Mass DOT is working on about $6.5 million of improvements, and we're going to add about $8.6 million on top of that of additional improvements. And there's been a very detailed traffic study that's been done. And what the study concluded was, first of all, the current situation, as I'm sure all of you know, in general around the site is not good. I mean, there are some very, very significant traffic problems. Some of the areas get an F. They grade it. The level of service is an F. After all the work is done, the MassDOT work plus the funds that we're going to put to use, the study concluded that the situation, even when you include the additional traffic for the casino, will be significantly improved over what it is now. And it's our commitment to do that because it doesn't make any sense for us to have a casino where people can't get in, they can't get out, and if you've got the neighbors yelling at you because we've made traffic worse. It is very much in our interest to make sure that we get it right, and we will be committed to doing that. The other thing to note is casino traffic really is kind of an even flow throughout the day. It's not something where you have like a rush when other people are going to work or coming back from work. Our traffic is fairly steady from about 10 a.m. to about 8 or 9 p.m. at night. There's a few spikes, sometimes around 8 to 10, and obviously on the weekends it's a little busier. But it's not like having a concert where you might have 2,000 or 5,000 people showing up at the same place at the same time. And then the only other thing I'd say on traffic at this point is this area is zoned for a commercial development that, if it were built, would actually generate more traffic than what the casino is projected to generate. So we think we'll get traffic right, and that's a significant commitment that we're making. I think we have a couple of renderings to look at. So you'll see this looks very different than the Falls View Resort, and certainly different than all of the other casinos that we've built. We want to make sure that the hotel isn't too tall, that none of the buildings stand out too much. Gabled roofs, masonry look seems to be appropriate, and that's kind of the way we're seeing this right now. There's another rendering from a different angle. The program itself, a $650 million development. It's going to be obviously some gaming, but at the same time we've got some great restaurants, food and beverage program, entertainment. There'll be a hotel with a spa, and it's really a destination resort, not just a casino. So in terms of the kinds of development that happens, we're going to be employing, we think, about 1,500 permanent jobs. There'll be about 1,400 construction jobs. Our team members, they, especially once they have jobs, they spend. They will occasionally eat at the restaurants at the casino, but they will eat at restaurants and other establishments in town. And they have money in their pockets, they want to spend it. The visitors who come to the casino want to spend it. And what we've seen is in every city that we operate, there's been substantial economic development, whether it's new restaurants popping up, there's been hotels developed, there have been other businesses that have cropped up in and around the neighborhoods where we do business. And we think that that's a very good possibility and something we look forward to having happen here in Brockton as well. So the jobs themselves, when we talk about average compensation, this is for people who are the hourly folks working day to day. This is not management. It's not the people who run the property. It's not the supervisors. This is the hourly folks. Average compensation, including benefits, is about $50,000 a year. It's actually slightly higher than that. We expect it would be the same, if not higher, in Brockton. And so that's for the median person, like the person right in the middle. So we think the benefits are terrific. We work hard to make sure that we provide great benefits for people. You can see that up on the slide as well. And then, of course, the 1,400 construction jobs we think are a significant benefit. One thing to remember, too, is that we will have a local preference. We want to hire people from Brockton and the surrounding area, but specifically, first place we want to look is Brockton. In Pittsburgh, in Des Plaines, and in Philadelphia, that's who we've hired from. We've hired from the local community, and we'll do the same thing here. All right, local businesses. This is where we want to do business as well. We buy a lot of things. We buy food, we buy beverages, we're going to be doing a lot of laundry, we're going to need landscaping services, and from what I can tell from last winter, we'll need a lot of snow removal, hopefully a little bit less down the road. But there's just a long list of equipment and other things that we buy, and our preference is to work with local businesses to do that. We want to buy local. For example, in our restaurants, we try to highlight all of the local produce or meats or vegetables or anything else that we feature on our menus. We try to buy local as much as possible. And we're going to be holding a vendor forum in Brockton on May 1st, which is a week from Friday, where we'll have about 20 to 25 people from Rush Street Gaming who will be able to take you through and take anybody who's interested through what kind of licensing requirements there might be, what does it take in order to be somebody that we can work with and educate people on what those buying opportunities are. So we look forward to that and hope that anybody who's interested comes on May 1st to take advantage of that. I know the video took you through some of the financial benefits, but might as well highlight them here. I think the biggest one is the annual payments, minimum of $10 million, and if we're really successful, at 2.25%, could be higher, at 2.25% of our gross gaming revenues. There's another fund, too, that really isn't talked about a lot. 10% of what we pay in, plus 10% of our license fee, and this is true for all the casinos operating, goes into a fund that the host communities can make applications for worthy projects. And that fund is probably going to be in the $40 to $50 million a year range. So there's going to be significant additional funds available for the host communities to apply for, in addition to all of the other benefits that you see on the board. Hotels, meals, water and sewer taxes as well, so that's going to add another potentially up to $2 million per year to what Brockton will see. So in the end, we really think Brockton wins. We've got the investment, the economic boost of the town, the jobs, opportunities for the local community, for local vendors, and keep in mind too that we're going to be bringing people in from areas of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, who don't normally stop by in Brockton. They're going to want to buy things. We've seen this elsewhere as well. We think that represents a great opportunity. So very excited. I will take questions once we get to the Q&A session. Thank you very much.
I was asked by Chris a year ago. I spoke at this event a year ago, and the Chamber asked me to share my thoughts on where we were after our first 100 days in office. And so it was nice to receive the invitation again this year. And Chris, being the innovative thinker that he is, came up with the topic of where are we after 1 year plus 100 days. So my staff did prepare a great speech. It's fairly lengthy, and so I'm not going to use it. But I'll just summarize. Yeah, I know exactly. I'll just give you a quick summary by saying we're doing a great job according to the speech written by my staff, who apparently would all like to continue to work on the staff. But I thought that this would be, when I realized that David was our keynote speaker today and speaking before me, I thought perhaps I could take a few minutes to share with you my perspective as the mayor of the city on this proposed resort casino here in the city. And I'm not here to talk about the casino per se, but instead I'd like to share my thoughts with you on what I see as the potential benefits to the city and where it will help us get to if it in fact does become a reality here in the city. 1 year and 100 days ago, we did chart a new course for the city of Brockton, and we set 3 primary goals. We said we would utilize 21st century technology to make city government more efficient and more accessible to our residents. We said that our primary goal would be to revitalize our city's economy, and we said that we would restore safe and clean neighborhoods to our city. And by that, by safe and clean neighborhoods, we also mean safe and clean business districts. And so those are the goals in front of us, and a lot of progress has been made. We still have a lot of work to do. But as I look at the possibility of this resort casino being sited in Brockton, I can't help but look at and consider what this may provide us in terms of allowing us to fulfill our vision for the future of this city. And when we talk about revitalizing the city's economy, I don't need to tell this audience that we need to provide some property tax relief, and particularly with our commercial property tax rate that is one of the highest in southeastern Massachusetts. And in fact, it's true. That current property tax rate, commercial property tax rate, I would describe as a disincentive for businesses to locate here in the city right now. It's the one challenge we always have to overcome when we're trying to attract a business here. And they look at the cost of doing business. We have a lot of great things we can offer that many neighboring communities don't, but sooner or later in that conversation, it will lead to our commercial property tax rate. So when I see the potential for $10 to $12 million a year of additional revenue coming into the city budget, I immediately know that that will allow us to provide real property tax relief and to be able to get our commercial property tax rate competitive with surrounding communities. And I think we would all agree that the best way to get to that goal is by broadening the tax base. The answer is growth. The answer is not going back to the same people over and over again and asking them to pay more and more. The answer is broadening the tax base, growth, and this one project, it would be the single largest development to ever come to the city, would tremendously broaden our tax base in one fell swoop, in one project. That $10 to $12 million a year coming into the city, though, I think equally importantly, would help us to fulfill our commitment to our schools and to public safety. Because as we look forward to developing Brockton as a livable 21st century city, we know that those are the 2 most important factors in creating a city where people want to purchase their first home, to create a city where businesses want to open, where businesses want to expand, and to create a city of opportunity. I joined a group of mayors from across the country called Cities of Opportunity. There are about 70 of us. It's chaired by Mayor de Blasio of New York and co-chaired by Mayor Marty Walsh of Boston. And so we spend a lot of time, working on how do we make our cities cities of opportunity and creating opportunity for our residents. And there's no doubt that investing in our public school education and making sure that the children in our cities are getting the same first-class, high-quality public school education that the children in the affluent surrounding communities get is a commitment that we've made, and it's a commitment that the additional revenue from this casino would help us to provide. Because if we're going to be a city of opportunity, we need to provide opportunities for our children. And one of our challenges we face right now is providing opportunities for our children that motivate them to come back and live here after they complete their education. We've got a brain drain right now. Some of our best and brightest, we do a great job giving them that public school education. We give them a great plan for their future. We help them get into a college, and then they continue on, and they go on to very successful lives. But quite often not coming back and doing that as a resident of Brockton. And I know that the funding that this casino would provide will help us to guarantee that education. If we're revitalizing our city's economy, that includes creating jobs. When you're out on the campaign trail, people never come up to you and say, you should revitalize the city's economy. What they say is, we need jobs. I need a job, my daughter needs a job, my uncle needs a job, but the word you hear all the time is jobs. But the reality is, it's business and industry that create those jobs. And when I look at a proposal for a project that would create 1,500 permanent jobs, and I think about how transformational that is to families in Brockton who will get the vast majority of those jobs. I know David mentioned how much Rush Street Gaming they like to hire local people. Well, the fact of the matter is, under our host community agreement that we've agreed to, they have to hire local people. The agreement says residency preference in hiring, and there's a secondary preference for people in communities surrounding Brockton. So I feel very confident when I say that the majority of the folks hired at this casino would be Brockton residents. And what does that do for those families here in Brockton? Not only do we have unemployment above the state average, but we also face a challenge of underemployment. We have a lot of good, hardworking people that are in jobs and earning incomes below their ability. And a place like this casino is going to give them an opportunity to get a job more commensurate with their abilities and have an opportunity to be promoted from within and create further opportunities for themselves. And I can't help but think about what difference it makes in the quality of life and the standard of living for those families, those over 1,000 Brockton families that are fortunate enough to land a good-paying permanent job with benefits at a resort casino here in Brockton. There's also a great economic benefit. David also mentioned local purchasing. And just like with the residency requirement in hiring, residency preference in hiring, there's also a local purchasing preference in that host community agreement. So the developers have agreed that they've made a commitment that whenever they're purchasing goods and services, that they will look first to purchase those goods and services here in the city of Brockton. And if those goods and services aren't immediately available here on a competitive basis, then they will look in the communities surrounding Brockton before they look outside the area. That will pump millions of dollars into our local economy, creating private sector jobs in companies that are doing business with the casino, providing goods and services to the casino. And not only that, I can see it as a strategy for us to help attract businesses to the city of Brockton who may like to do business with a large customer like the casino, because not only would they become one of the largest employers in the city, they would become one of the largest customers in the city, purchasing goods and services. The traffic study was just released, but it's not a secret that one of our biggest challenges in my first 1 year and 100 days has been pedestrian and bicyclist safety, and some tragedies that the city suffered through during my first year in office. So suffice to say, long before this outfit came to Brockton making a proposal, we were already spending a lot of time working closely with the Old Colony Planning Council and MassDOT and our other partners in looking specifically at that Belmont Street area, that Forest Ave area, along with several other key sections of the city, to see what infrastructure improvements could be made to increase safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. Well, and we all know there are some issues with traffic flow there. And I think, to a point David made, but I'd like to make even more, I think it was on my second meeting with Neil Bloom, and he came to see me in my office, and we were talking about the proposal for the casino. And I said to him, you know, I'm supportive of the concept and I can see the benefits, but I've got to tell you, I'm really concerned about traffic, particularly in the Belmont Street corridor. And he looked me right in the eye and he said, don't you think I am just as concerned about traffic as you are? We're not spending $650 million to build a casino that's hard to get to. And at that point, he made the commitment to me that whatever is recommended, we will do. We are going to invest. We need good traffic flow, and we need safety. So as I look at the recommendations that are being made in this traffic study, about or over $8 million of traffic infrastructure improvements in that west side of the city that not only will help the flow of traffic, but will make it safer for pedestrians and bicyclists, and best of all, is being paid for with private dollars from the casino developers, not tax dollars out of our residents' pockets. So I see that as a tremendous benefit to creating the future Brockton in the 21st century that we want. And I think I'll say my final point is that I think perhaps the biggest challenge we have with the city and around economic development and revitalizing our economy and providing public safety, it's the challenge of us changing the perception of the city of Brockton, and particularly the perception of the city of Brockton from people outside the city. We struggle with our image. I'll be the first one to say it, and we're absolutely committed to transforming this city into a city that does have a completely different and far more positive perception. And that work has already begun, and with Dr. Wall and Massasoit, and with our partners at Bridgewater State University and UMass Boston, bringing a downtown college campus, into downtown Brockton will be a big step in that direction. And the commitments that we've made to ensuring improvements in that area around the downtown college campus, that is a big step in transforming the perception, because now you've got all these folks coming to downtown Brockton to further their education, to create their own opportunities, and to come here and leave with a completely different perception of the city. But I look at, you saw the renderings, I look at the potential of that casino project and what that would do to the perception of Brockton, and that all of a sudden, Brockton becomes a destination. Brockton becomes a place to drive to rather than a place to drive through. And it's not a slots parlor that's being proposed. It's a resort destination casino with 5 or 6 restaurants, a 225-room hotel, entertainment, and a magnet to draw people to spend their disposable entertainment dollars here in the city of Brockton. And I think that that will have a huge positive impact on how the rest of the world views the city of Brockton. So I don't think I've been shy in sharing with the residents of the city how I feel about this proposal. But as it should be, there'll be a special election in the city on May 12th. And the residents of the city will make the decision as to whether they would like to see this casino developed here in the city. So I am asking the residents of this city to vote yes on the casino. But I'm not specifically asking them to vote yes on a casino. I'm asking them to vote yes on property tax relief, to vote yes to good public schools, to vote yes to improve public safety, and to vote yes to Brockton jobs for Brockton residents. Thank you.
In Brockton, we swing for the fences so we can touch home.
We coach in Brockton to instill the teamwork that builds a great winning tradition.
We do business in Brockton because here you can find a taste of home away from home.
We keep our company in Brockton because we love this city.
I study and learn in Brockton.
When Brockton is home, everything is within reach.